loves, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Joy, and guys, I know you saw the title. It looks like Biden is stepping down Friday, and he's getting pressure from everywhere, including the plans to make this happen. Now, we know that Congress goes back into session this week, and people are furious on both sides as to what is happening, and calls for him to step down are going crazy. We also know he has adamantly said it will take an act of GOD, and I'm not stepping down, which I've got some information on towards the end I want to give you that you won't want to miss because I have some very legitimate concerns. I mean, I think at this point there are a lot of people who are like me. I've been one of the voices who's been screaming, he needs medical help, this is mean. And I know a lot of you have too, and I think more and more people are now seeing this is a human being that is suffering, and I just feel sad for them. They need an advocate. So let's go ahead and let's dive into this. So the first thing I have is, this is from Exwa, guys. It says, behind the curtain, unbendable, Biden versus breaking point Dems. What's interesting is the title of this was changed. Yesterday, the title was Democrats asking Biden to step down Friday, but this is now changed. We know the media works with these people a lot of times, and I kind of wonder are they trying to buy more time? Why would you change or eschew the title from what it was? But let's go ahead and let's go down and look. And it says, we're now in uncharted historic waters. President Biden, backed by First Lady Jill Biden and his convicted son, Hunter, who's serving as de facto gatekeeper for longtime friends, says that nothing besides an act of God will persuade him to quit his re-election campaign. But outside Biden's protective bubble, a fast-growing number of Democrats are praying for and plotting a more earthly intervention. I've got some concerns on this. Again, we'll go into in a second. They want everyone from the Obamas to congressional leaders to beg Biden to drop out by this Friday. Why it matters. Biden and his Democratic critics share one common passion: the intensity, certainty, and irreversibility of their positions. Both plan fierce public and private campaigns to see who buckles. It won't be him. Biden says publicly and privately. On a Saturday call with national campaign co-chairs, Biden sounded full speed ahead. He vowed to spend more time talking directly to voters, whether at town halls or press conferences. Biden, please do. Please do, because on the one hand, my human side is concerned for you, seeing that you're suffering and people are just throwing you out to the wolves and nobody is helping you and you need medical help. But also, every time you do talk to voters and go off script, you're making me money. It's hilarious for people like us. So while this is going on, I guess let's be entertained by this horror show, right? It says, the big picture. Democratic lawmakers have gone far from shock to sadness to madness since the debate 10 days ago. These Democrats, further deflated by Biden's high-stakes ABC interview, believe there's nothing he can do to reverse the damage or his aging. The crap is going to hit the fan on Monday, and that's today, when Congress returns, a House Democrat told us. People are scared about their own races, but they're also worried about the country and about democracy. At this point, if I were a Democrat, I'd be scared because your party looks like a joke. Even other Democrats, even the woke ones, are screaming like, this is embarrassing. We've been seeing them. Even they're melting down. This is bad, guys. And it says, lawmakers were antsy enough about Biden during their 4th of July break this past weekend. They'll be even greater torque when they're venting, raging, and plotting in person. Every single person not named Biden or paid by the president recognizes how deep a hole he's in, said a top Democratic operative who's talking nonstop to elected officials. David Axelrod, former President Obama's political architect, described Biden's posture in an opinion piece on Saturday. Denial, delusion, defiance. That's perfect. And you know what? All those things, guys, those also go hand in hand with the ailments that Biden supposedly is supposed to have. So unfortunately, it makes perfect sense, especially the defiance. As when you are aging and you have things like Alzheimer's, dementia, we know he's been talking to a Parkinson's doctor. A lot of times, anger is one of those things that comes out. Defensiveness, which we keep seeing from him. And so it says, Axe said a growing chorus of Democrats is fearful of an election disaster. A front page story in Sunday's Washington Post quotes an advisor to major donors as estimating that for every 10 people who think he should exit, 1 thinks he should stay. The story says multiple people publicly vouching for Biden at the behest of the White House and campaign privately say there's no path. Biden got a rare bit of encouragement polling news Saturday. The Bloomberg News Morning Consult tracking poll of battleground states found he now leads Donald Trump in Michigan and Wisconsin. How? I'm sorry. How? Okay. All right. I'm just wondering, Wisconsin, y'all okay? Y'all okay? And Michigan. And I know these are battleground states, and Michigan tends to a lot of times lean liberal, but are we all not seeing the same stuff? And it says the candidates are statistically tied in Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina. Biden remains behind in must-win Pennsylvania, where he's campaigning Sunday, behind the scenes. Lawmakers from all factions of the party tell Exwa that big donors are key constituents have grave concerns about Biden's strength. The issue is breaking through in normal America. One swing state lawmaker told us that a monthly forum back home is usually consumed by community issues, but on Saturday, everybody wants to talk about Biden's age because we all understand how concerning this is. State of play. Don't be fooled by the small number of House Democrats who have publicly called for Biden to quit the race. 5 out of 213 is minuscule. It's complicated politics to say your sitting president needs to go. If he stays, Biden and voters would never forget. 5 out of 213. I think it's a whole lot more. We're just not hearing from everybody. And we hear more and more people speaking up. So this is crazy. So it says, but based on Exwa's reporters' conversation with dozens of House members and senators, it's clear that scores are close to speaking out or signing letters telling Biden it should be over. These conversations will intensify this week. And zoom in. The next sign of movement on the Hill will come Sunday afternoon when House Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries holds a Zoom with ranking members of the committee. So we're going to find out, some information. It says Senator Mark Warner, who's organizing a group of Senate Democrats to discuss Biden's future, is pushing the meeting for Monday evening. Everyone's watching Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, who would have the statute to tell Biden it's over, which we know she has been publicly speaking out in the media. Zoom out. Many top Democrats hope Biden will make his move by Friday because of the rush of events that soon will soak up whatever attention America will give the news as summer wanes. If Biden were to endorse Vice President Harris as the nominee, she'd need to ramp up and pick a running mate. And if Biden didn't anoint, there'd be a frenzy among governors and ambitious Democrats to try to win the nomination as the Democratic Convention in Chicago in mid-August. Every day that's going by is a disaster, the operative says. And then it says, what's next? Biden plans a Thursday afternoon news conference as NATO leaders wrap up a 3-day summit in Washington. The Western Democratic leaders will be experiencing a presidential crisis in real time. Then look at how jammed America's calendar is. And over the next 8 days, Trump is expected to name his running mate, which we don't have yet. The 4-day Republican convention opens in Milwaukee a week from tomorrow, Monday, July 15th. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed a joint session of Congress on July 24th. The Summer Olympics in Paris opens up on July 26th and runs 17 days. That is going to get interesting. And then the Democratic Convention opens in Chicago on August 10th. Watch out for what's going on with Paris and all of their riots in the Olympics. I do think that's going to get interesting. I say that as somebody who has lived in Paris and seen a lot of stuff go on there. And it says, between the lines, something has to give. Biden believes a strong week at NATO, a powerful performance at a Thursday's press conference, and private pressure from his allies will quiet the storm. His Democratic critics believe rising calls for him to quit, relentless pressure on Hill leaders to join them, and private pressures on Biden will ease or force the president out of the race. I don't know about that, so we're going to keep talking about that. And it says, the bottom line, Biden holds the power. He does. If he doesn't blink, he'd be daring Democrats to wage a public fight at the convention to undo the will of the voters 11 weeks before the election day. It would tear apart the party, the convention, Biden's legacy. The president believes that at the end, his critics will cave. That's all true, but guys, there is another power player here, and it's always the ones who are in power and control, and that's the people with the money. So at this point, if Biden runs out of money, he can't really campaign anymore, but he technically could. I'm concerned that he is so far gone and he is so stubborn. He would just sit online and do Zoom calls all day or do live streams if he ran out of money to just keep this thing going. And I want to know what you guys think about this. My concern is, and I want to say this really lightly, understand I do not wish ill will on any human being. I just don't. That's not who I am. And I don't think Biden is a good person. I don't think most of these politicians are good people. My concern is this. When you're dealing with people with a lot of money, they have questionable morals. We know people like this, I guess you could call them the low state, the blank and the ground state, right? Please and for I don't know what all I can say on YouTube. But my concern is he is so stubborn. Will he be taken out by force? And I'm not even talking about they go through the process of trying to, I guess the word impeach or do evoke the 25th Amendment on him, which a lot of people are saying that could happen. That's going to take time. My concern is Biden going to be taken out? Is that what we're going to see? But at this point, it would be so blatant. It would be so stupid of them. It'd be so blatant. But then I don't know what other choices there are right now. So also, though, I do want to go over this, guys, because it says Democratic power players are circulating a proposal for Biden to exit and launch a blitz primary. Let's look. It says 2 Democrats with a powerful network of friends are circulating a proposal for President Joe Biden to bow out of the race in 2024 election and launch a blitz primary. Rosa Brooks and Ted Dintersmith, the co-authors, sent their plan to dozens of high-dollar Democratic donors, Biden administration officials, and campaign staff. So let's look. It says 2 Democrats with powerful networks of friends are circulating this proposal. Rosa Brooks, a Georgetown University law professor who previously served in both the Obama and Clinton administrations, and Ted Dintersmith, high-dollar Democratic donor, co-authored the proposal, a copy of which was obtained by CNBC. And it says the proposal comes as pressure builds on Biden to exit the race following his stumbling debate on June 27th against former President Donald Trump. The president's debate performance triggered alarm bells for Democratic strategists, lawmakers, donors, and voters, escalating lingering concerns about Biden's age and ability to beat Trump. Brooks said that she and Dintersmith initially sent the memo to Tuesday to dozens of powerful Democrats, including significant donors, Biden's appointees, and campaign officials. As Brooks pointed out in an interview with CNBC, they sent the plan to everybody who we thought might have the ear of anybody who has the influence over the president's decision making. Guys, remember, this is the thing. His decision making is altered. It's not just that he doesn't know what's going on and he's stumbling around, he speaks stupid. He can't make decisions well. And that's why I think that a lot of this is for show, and I am concerned that there's going to be a pew-pew situation. Not that I want that, not that I'm calling for it. I'm concerned when you're dealing with evil people like this, you can't put it past him. And it says, as Brooks put in an interview with CNBC, they sent the plan to everyone. The proposal lays out several key steps, beginning with Biden announcing that he will exit the race in mid-July in a speech for the ages. The memo's author envisioned it. Overnight, Biden is hailed as a modern-day George Washington, not an octogenarian clinging to power with a 37% approval rating, the proposal reads. From GOT, the GOAT, to hero. It says the next phase of the plan is a blitz primary, where prospective Democrat candidates submit their bids and delegates to the Democratic National Convention ultimately narrow down a list of 6 contenders. The hypothetical accelerated primary would involve a massive social media content campaign to engage voters, including forums between the candidate moderated by celebrities like Oprah Winfrey, Taylor Swift, and Stephen Colbert, according to the memo. Brooks and Dintersmith visions end with delegates voting on the final nominee at the DNC, which would theoretically benefit from boosted viewership and donations for the viral hype of the preceding blitz primary. And this is why is it just me, or at this point, anytime I see a celebrity get involved with politics, I just get angry and I immediately don't trust them. Either side, but especially Democrat, I just immediately don't trust it. I'm like, who paid you off how much, and do you really believe this? And at this point, I hate to say it, a lot of them, I question their intelligence. I'm not saying they're not intelligent people, but I'm just like, why would a celebrity be telling me anything about how to run the country or politics? You're here to entertain, and I'm not saying you don't have intelligence and can't do multiple things, but you're being sold. It just really bothers me. I'm like, I don't want an entertainer to tell me how to think. That's how I feel about it. And it says, Brooks, who noted that she is not a political strategist, said that a proposal should be treated as more of a living document and that many of the details of the plan have been changed as the Democrats, who saw the memo hypothetically, toyed with this idea. We know we're not in any position to define what actually happens, but we're so encouraged by the uniform reaction. Wow, if something along these lines happens, Americans will be lifted up from our current doldrums, Dintersmith said in one email to CNBC. Since initially sending the proposal on Tuesday, Brooks said that they have received dozens of responses, most of which liked the plan, even if it has a slim chance of actually being executed. The tone has very much been, oh my God, this is probably impossible, but what a great idea, Brooks said. She added that the more time goes on, the more she feels that people are beginning to see the plan as viable. It's gone in a few days from, oh, this would be such a great idea. It could happen. It probably won't, to, why can't it? In a response to a request for comment on the proposal, the Biden campaign said that the July fundraising has so far been the strongest grassroots start to a month ever. That's depressing for them. The campaign also pointed to Biden's remarks on Wisconsin on Friday. I'm not letting one 90-minute debate wipe out 3.5 years of work. I'm staying in the race and I will beat Donald Trump. Well, he's not beating Donald Trump. And that 90 minutes wasn't the concern. I mean, for a lot of people who haven't been following it, we've been watching his decline for days, weeks, months, and even years. Why do you think he was called Sleepy Joe the first time around, guys? And it's so sad when you see the difference between him even at that point with Donald Trump versus now. It's sad. Even 4 years ago, he was much more functioning. So it's interesting they have this plan. It's interesting they're putting it in place. But again, here's my concern. This is going to take too long. And anything they do is going to get them bad press. I think they have to stage something that looks like an act of God. Biden himself said, I'm not dropping out. It would take an act of God. And so does it stand to reason this is what they're going to create for him? And it makes me sad. And yet, it's so obvious, guys. It would be so obvious to most of us. At this point, you can talk to even the most basic of person who doesn't really know what's going on, and everybody's like, this doesn't feel right. Something isn't right here. So I think the only path forward and how it will look in the optics is him being taken out and it looking like he just had some quick decline or it's a health issue that just now he's not here. I mean, think about it though. He pays off those doctors he has, which Congress is now screaming they want them to testify as to why Biden is in such a horrible state and what's really happening with him medically. We'll get into that in another video. There's more information coming out about his doctors, but basically he's hired doctors just to give him the okay. He's hired doctors to lie for him. That happens all the time. A lot of celebrities hire doctors just to be drug pushers. We see this all the time. So does it stand to reason they're going to hire somebody to take him out? Because any other way is going to look horrible and tear the party apart. The party is already torn apart at this point, guys. If you look at it from an objective point of view, how can you trust a party or even the voters in that party who looked at Biden all this time and said he's okay and went with the rumors, oh, if you think Biden isn't a good person or if you don't think Biden is the right person to go after Trump or Trump's so bad that everything about Biden is okay, you have to question what's going on with those people and that party. I don't know. What do you guys think about all this? What do you think about this information? What do you think about my assessment? Tell me your thoughts, guys. Sound off in the comments. If you like content like this, make sure and subscribe, leave me a like, and I've got a whole lot more coming from you because this crazy train does not stop. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Until the next video, I'm giving you all hugs, kisses, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.